You and your friends decide to go out to have a bite to eat. When you get to the restaurant, it's really busy, and you look around, you see almost everybody's engaged in their phone. They're barely paying attention to each other, even your hostess. So after about 10 seconds or so, she finally decides to look up from her phone when she realizes that you're there and lets out a sigh. She's obviously exasperated that you're there, that you're interrupting whatever she's got going on with her phone. She asks you how many are in your party, let her know that there's four. She tells you to sit down, it's going to be about a half hour wait. So you and your group of friends sit down, and the first thing you do is you pull out your phones, and you start sending pointless memes to each other and laughing at what's going on Facebook, and you're checking your email. This is something that I see everywhere. I see it in work, I see it in restaurants, I see it in grocery stores, I see it while people are driving. I even personally had to close my Facebook account because it was really getting to be a problem. I was checking Facebook every chance that I got. Every task that I had, I checked Facebook. It was worse than smoking. So I started to put this together, this connection, when we did a critique of a professional speech. I did mine on a millennial speech that Simon Sinek gave. And one of the things that he mentioned was that millennials were spending so much time with their technology, they were losing touch with each other. They were losing touch with reality. So I started to look a little bit deeper into the problem. And I found a bunch of articles. There's a company called TCI Technologies. They're a consulting firm. And they did a study, and they looked back at 1980. They were looking at obesity rates. And what they found is that back in 1980, about 7% of the population was obese, compared to 2012, where 21% of the population was obese. Now, they linked this directly to Facebook, and this is how. What they said, the CDC recommends 21 minutes of exercise a day for any normal adult. Now, if you spend 40 minutes on Facebook every day and you're not exercising, what you're really saying is that Facebook is more important than your health. This is a problem. Technology needs to be used respectably, and we completely abuse its power. So, there's other problems, especially within your family. The Odyssey Online, there was an article on one of their blogs, and it talked about how people don't need to call each other to check and see how they're doing any longer. You don't need to call grandma and find out what's going on because it's all over Facebook. We don't have any reason. One of the biggest problems, what we're seeing with the youths, there's a study on Softpedia about depression and anxiety in children. And what's happening is that when you don't socialize with somebody, you get depressed and you get anxious and you lose your social skills. Communication with each other and groups and civilization and all these things, it's part of being human. This is what makes us human. We're social creatures. And one of the biggest problems for me, like I take my phone into the grocery store and I hear that little ding and I get all excited and I stop in the middle of the aisle and take my phone out. I'm blocking traffic. I'm in everybody's way, and it's not just me, it's all over the place. So what I'm proposing is that we need to have some personal restraint. Not only do we need to have some personal restraint, we need to have some restraint with our children. We need to set aside personal time where the phones are off. We need to go out with our friends and leave the phones in the car. This was one thing that Simon Sinek suggested, and I agree with that. The other thing is exercise. If you've got all that time to stare at your phone and to text about all these pointless things, you can definitely go for a walk. Take your dog for a walk. Whatever you need to do. I guess the point is that technology needs to be respected, and I don't know exactly how to go about changing, but I know we need to change our habits. First and foremost, we need to sever that tie a little bit. We need to start leaving the phone in the car. We need to start leaving it off at night. We need to leave it on silent. We need to not take it into meetings. Technology is very powerful, and there's great amounts of information, but the problem is if we abuse it, we'll eventually destroy ourselves. I'm sorry to bring up such a cheesy quote, but Spider-Man was one of the greatest movies ever made. And there's a line in there. It says, with great power comes great responsibility. And I absolutely believe that. So I hope you get something out of my little speech. Thank you for listening.